Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are LA.
It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Prime Ticket presents the Dodgers as they take on the Miami Marlins. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Friday evening to you, wherever you may be. Welcome to Game 1 of the three-game series with the Fish, as they call him. And on the mound tonight is a big fish. His name is Jose Fernandez. He is 20 years old. He won't be 21 till the end of July. The last game he pitched, he was dazzling. Against the Philadelphia Phillies, he went 7 innings. He allowed 1 hit, 1 walk, struck out 9, and retired 17 in a row. One other interesting note, the Dodger lineup tonight, including the switch hitter Nick Punto, they will have 6 left-hand batters. You know what left-hand hitters are doing against Fernandez? They are batting collectively 151. On the mound for the Dodgers, young right-hander Matt McGill pitched very well here at Dodger Stadium his last time out against Milwaukee. Left in the 7th inning leading 3-2. Had nothing to do with the decision. He was shaky last time out in San Francisco. So those are the numbers. Stay with us. Enjoy the ball game. We'll be back with a whole lot more right after this. Dodger Baseball on Prime Ticket is brought to you by your Southern California Hyundai dealers, by AT&T UVerse TV, Check availability at 1-800-PICK-ATT. And by Jack in the Box. The Chipotle Chicken Club combo is back for a limited time.
An absolutely gorgeous night here in Southern California inside Dodger Stadium. 70 degrees, clear, and the Dodgers are hoping that, like the forecast for the weather, which is supposed to heat up over the weekend, that the Dodger bats will indeed do that as well. Steve Lyons, Mark Rogandino back here with you for Dodger Baseball out in center field. If they are going to heat up, it's going to start here tonight in the first of 3 against the Marlins. And as we look at our Hyundai key to the game, it hinges on Matt McGill and how well he pitches.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see the bats heating up at the same time with the pitchers starting to settle in. Matt McGill, he had a bad start his last time out, went just 1 1/3, gave up 6 hits and 5 earnings in that one, and he walked 4 guys. That's not his style of pitching. He pounds the strike zone, he gets ahead of hitters, and then gets you to chase either the high fastball or the slider down and away. He's got to start ahead in the count, though. That sets up everything else that he can do. Remember, the Marlins, outside of Juan Pierre, who only strikes out about once every 17 times he goes to the plate, this is a swing and miss team. Struck out 236 times. That plays right into McGill's hands.
Manager Don Mattingly said before the game when I asked him about Matt McGill, he said it's composure is one of the things I notice about this young kid. We'll see if he comes out composed in the early innings here tonight. All right, when we come back, it is time for the first pitch between the Marlins and the Dodgers, the first of 3 over the weekend. On Prime Ticket, it comes your way next, everybody. Enjoy the game.
You, wherever you may be, welcome to Dodger Stadium. It's a glorious early evening. We've got plenty of blue skies, a few puffy white clouds. The lights have not really taken effect as yet, but it looks like we're in for a lovely evening. Meanwhile, Mike Redmond brings in his ball club from Miami, and the Fish come in having lost 3 straight to San Diego and 6 of the last 8. They'll have old Dodger pal Juan Pierre leading off in left field. Adeni Hechavarria will be at shortstop. Placido Polanco will be at third. Justin Ruggiano will be in center field. Greg Dobbs at first base. Marcell Ozuna just called up in right. Derek Dietrich at second base. Rob Brantley is the catcher. And on the mound, Jose Fernandez. On the mound for the Dodgers, young Matt McGill. He's 24 years old come November, so he's still very young looking at all of the other National League pitchers. He went to Royal High School in Simi Valley. That's the home of both Jeff and Jared Weaver. He's 6'3", 190. Did not pitch well in San Francisco, did pitch well here. Walked off the field leading 3-2 against Milwaukee in the 7th inning and was not involved in the eventual decision. So it's the Dodgers and the Marlins in a 3-game series. Tomorrow night it'll be Hyunjin Ryu against Slowey, and then on Sunday Capuana and Coley. Then the Dodgers will check in and await the Washington Nationals. Here are the Dodgers with the leather. You have Gonzalez and Schumacher, Gordon and Punto, Crawford, Kemp, and Deepier, and A.J. Ellis behind the plate. Talking about Adrian Gonzalez at first base, you know, the other night he slipped and fell trying to one-hand a foul ball, hurt his neck a little bit, and as precautionary measure to make sure the neck doesn't stiffen up, the Dodgers sent Elian Herrera back down to Albuquerque and called up Scott Van Slyke, who can play first base or even a corner outfield spot. Big Scotty, wearing number 33, talking to Chad Billingsley right now as he stands right near the railing of the Dodger dugout. So here we go, game 1 of the series, and what is there to say about Juan Pierre except the fact he was a wonderful player and teammate and can still play as he takes the first pitch for a strike and the count 0-1. Pierre will be 36 years old in the middle of August. The left-hand hitter looks at a strike, so he's in a hole 0-2. Juan Pierre, not much for power, but he does have 1,812 singles. How about that? So Pierre waiting, and the strike 2 pitch coming up. Juan takes very high, ball 1, 1-2. So Matt McGill in his 3rd major league start, Milwaukee, San Francisco, and now Miami. And the 1-2 pitch to Pierre lifted into left field. Coming up forward is Crawford to make the running catch. So Pierre, fly ball to left, 1 away. Atheny Hechavarria coming up as Pierre walks back. Hechavarria is from Cuba, from Santiago de Cuba, but moved now to Plantation, Florida. Was originally signed by the Blue Jays. Atheny, right-hand batter, 5'11", 185, 24 years old, just turned 24, and he takes a strike, and the count 0-1. He was a star on the Cuban Junior National League, and when he left the island, he was the top shortstop in Cuba. He takes a strike, and the count 0-2. So Hechavarria, who's been playing professionally since 2010. The pitch to him, he holds up and takes high, ball 1. He actually was in 40-some-odd games for the Toronto Blue Jays last year and hit .254. 1-2 the count. Hechavarria waiting. The right-hand batter swings, hits a drive to dead center, but Kemp is right there to one-hand it. So we have 2 fly balls by Hechavarria and Pierre. And the batter now will be the veteran Placido Polanco. Mike Redmond's been trying to find a spot to give Polanco a little bit of a rest, but he hasn't found it yet. So Placido has played in 10 straight, hitting .248. We told you about Juan Pierre having 1,800 singles. Placido has over 1,500, and he takes a little high, ball 1, 1-0. Placido Polanco is from Santo Domingo in the Dominican, lives in Miami. Right-hand hitter, takes a strike, 1-1. Polanco 5'10", 195, came up with the Cardinals way back in 1998. He's had a great career. The 1-1 pitch on the way, and Polanco lifts it off first, down the line, slicing foul. A trio of Dodgers, a tremendous diving catch by second baseman Schumacher, diving in between Gonzalez and Ethier, and somehow held on to the ball. Big play. Down goes Polanco, and the Marlins at the end of half an inning, no score. spectacular diving catch by Skip Schumacher. Now let's take a look at the Dodger lineup. Carl Crawford leads off in left field, and Nick Punto at third. Adrian Gonzalez at first. Matt Kemp with an 8-game hitting streak in center field. Andre Ethier in right. A.J. Ellis the catcher. Skip Schumacher at second base. D. Gordon the shortstop, and Matt McGill the pitcher. The pitcher for Miami. He is 20 years old. He'll be 21 the 31st of July. He is 6'2", about 242 pounds. Right-handed all the way. Was a first-round pick in 2011. And the first pitch is low and inside to Crawford. 1 ball and no strikes. We were talking about him pregame, about the magnificent effort he turned in against the Philadelphia Phillies. The 1-0 pitch, and that's in there, 1-1. Against the Phillies, 7 innings shutout. No runs, 1 hit, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. He retired 17 in a row. The 1-1 pitch on the way. Line drive by the mound into center for a base hit. So Crawford opens up the night with a single into center, and the batter will be Nick Punto. We'll take a look at Miami defensively. Dobbs and Dietrich, Echevarria and Polanco, with Pierre, Ruggiani, and Osuna in the outfield. Brantley behind the plate. Nick Punto, the switch hitter. The other note about Fernandez, the Dodgers with Punto batting left-handed have 6 of the 9 batters left-handed. The first pitch to Nick is low, ball 1. And against left-hand hitting this year, Fernandez has held the left-handers to a 151 batting average. So we'll see. So Crawford greeted him with a base hit. Here's Punto with Adrian Gonzalez waiting on deck. Crawford off the bag, draws a throw, and hurries back. The background on Fernandez is very interesting. 3 times he tried to escape Cuba. 3 times he was captured and sent back. He was imprisoned for 2 weeks the first time, a month the second, and 2 months the third time. Crawford off the bag, Fernandez delivers, and he's low and away. The 4th time he finally made it, but it was a harrowing experience. He fled Cuba in the dark of the night, overcrowded speedboat with his mom and younger sister. The sea grew rougher, the waves higher, the boat tipped, and he saw a passenger fall overboard. So he dived in, unaware that he was about to save his mother. The 2-0 pitch is low, so 3-0 the count. So he clung on to her, she clung to him. He swam about 30 yards back through the waves with his mom hanging around his neck, and he saved her life, and event brought her home. So Fernandez waiting, he's already a hero. The 3-0 pitch, and that's taken in for a strike, 3-1. Punto has a look down to Tim Wallach for the moment. Now Nick back up. 3-1 to Nick, so you're wondering about run and hit. Throw to first. Crawford jumps back on the bag. Fernandez staring in, getting a sign from Rob Brantley. Now the young right-hander ready. Crawford does not go, and the pitch is ball 4. So coming off the great game in Philadelphia, the young 20-year-old is in trouble. Giving up a base hit and a walk, and with nobody out, he'll now get Gonzalez, Kemp, and Ethier. Adrian Gonzalez batting .343, 3 home runs, 23 RBIs, and as you know, he has been very, very successful with runners in scoring position. So he's got runners at first and second, and Adrian checking in. Fernandez set at the belt. Right-hander ready, comes to his hitter, and a slider in for a strike, and they count 0-1. Gonzalez, very consistent, hitting better than .300 against Fernandez. Rob Brantley out there to talk to the young pitcher. for Adrian Gonzalez, batting .481 with runners in scoring position and .407 with runners on base. So Fernandez facing a very tough hitter now. 2 on, nobody out. First inning, no score. Jose out of a stretch. A look at the runners. And the strike one pitch to Adrian Gonzalez. Swung on in a high drive into deep center. Back goes Ruggiano to the wall. It's gone. And the Dodgers lead 3-0 just like that. So Adrian Gonzalez, Mr. Reliable for the Dodgers, drives in 2 ahead of him with his home run. For Gonzalez this year, he now has 4 home runs, 26 runs batted in, and he just put that sweet, syrupy swing on it and cleared the center field wall. Ruggiano to the wall, could just watch it go out. So Gonzalez gets 5, the Dodgers get 3, lead 3-0. And the batter is Matt Kemp, who checks in with an 8-game hitting streak. Fernandez delivers, fastball foul back, and the count 0-1. So Gonzalez brings young Fernandez back to earth. For Fernandez, that would be the 3rd home run that the 20-year-old has given up. Matt Kemp hitting .272 with a home run and 14 runs batted in. He takes Slider off the plate, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Fernandez both feet on the rubber. Kemp waiting quietly, and the 1-1 pitch on the way. Matt pulls the legs out of the way, low and inside. 2-1 the count. So Adrian Gonzalez gives the Dodgers 3 at the outset. Now the 2-1 pitch, Kemp fouls that back, and the count 2-2. Basically the book on Jose Fernandez, 4-seam fastball that's been clocked as high as 98, 99, 2-seamer, curve, slider, and a change. The 2-2 pitch on the way. Right-handed fastball is fouled away. Since he is from Cuba and it's all part of his background, it was only right for Jose Fernandez to put a nickname on his curveball. He calls it the defected. 2-2 the count to Matt Kemp. Young Jose turns, and the 2-2 pitch, slider, half swing, strike 3, and down goes Matt Kemp. Slider in the dirt, by the way, and that's their first out of the inning. So for Matt, things are really starting to pile up in the strikeout department. He has now struck out 35 times and goes away empty-handed with 1 out in the first inning. Andre Ethier checking in, hitting .243, 3 home runs, 10 runs batted in. Fernandez ready and delivers, and there's a ground foul off the protective railing in front of the Miami dugout. 0-1 the count. The Marlins with a regular second baseman, Donovan Solano, on the DL. So they're playing Derek Dietrich at second base. The strike 1 pitch on the way is swung on and fouled at the plate. Fastball down. That's the 2-seamer with pretty good sink to it. 0-2 the count to Andre Ethier. Meanwhile, Matt McGill sitting on a comfortable 3-0 cushion here in the first inning. Strike 2 pitch on the way, and Ethier swings, ground ball right side. Dietrich up with it. Derek makes the play for the second out, and the batter will be A.J. Ellis. So in the inning, Chad Crawford, Carl singled up the middle, then Punto walked, Gonzalez homers, Kemp strikes out, Ethier grounds out, and the batter now A.J. Ellis. A.J. hitting .271, 2 home runs, 9 runs batted in, and looks at a strike, 0-1. Tom Hallion is the plate umpire to begin this series. Tom's got over 20 years umpiring. Born in New York, went to the University of Buffalo, lives in Kentucky. A.J. drives one into deep right center. Ruggiano watching this one go off the wall. Justin fires to the infield, but Ellis is in there safely with a long double. So A.J. Ellis keeps it going with a 2-out double to right center. And the batter now will be Skip Schumacher. Fastball, not good movement on it. And A.J. hits one off the right center field wall. Ruggiano right there to get it back in. So the Dodgers trying to turn things around. They've really been on a roller coaster. They started the year, remember, 7-4, then turned around, went in the tank. They were 0-6, then turned back around and won 6 out of 9. Schumacher slices one to left. Pierre backtracks and makes the catch. Now the Dodgers are in a 7-game losing streak, but they get off on the right foot when they pick up 3 thanks to Adrian Gonzalez. And at the end of an inning, Dodgers 3, Miami nothing. Your summer at the ballpark with the Dodger 10-game summer plan. With great matchups, you have the Giants, Red Sox, Cubs, and Yankees. And for more information, visit Dodgers.com/mini-plans or give us a call, 323-DODGERS today. Adrian Gonzalez hits a 3-run home run. Dodgers lead 3-0. And it will be Ruggiano, followed by Dobbs, and then Ozuna. Justin Ruggiano was signed by the Dodgers way back in 2004. He was going to school at Texas A&M. Right-hand batter, and the first pitch from McGill in for a strike. Justin from Austin, Texas, 31 years old, 6'2", about 205 pounds, and he takes high 1-1. Signed by the Dodgers, he first made it to the big leagues with the Devil Rays. Then he came to the Marlins last year. 1-1 pitch on the way, hit foul down the line. 1-2 to Justin. Ruggiano hitting .233. Has a half a dozen home runs, 15 runs batted in. Of course, a lot of new faces in the Miami lineup. So some of the famous names moved on. The 1-2 pitch, slider away. You start thinking about Jose Reyes and Mark Burley, Josh Johnson, John Buck, Emilio Bonifacio. I mean, the payroll was slashed down to nothing. The pitch is high, and you have a 3-2 count to Ruggiano. Ruggiano joined the Marlins in May last year. Had 5 home runs, 15 RBIs right away, and he takes ball 4. So with the Dodgers leading 3-0, Ruggiano leads off the second with the base hit, and Greg Dobbs will be coming up. Greg Dobbs, left-hand hitting first baseman. Greg was born here in Los Angeles and lives in Moreno Valley. He was originally signed by the Mariners. Originally signed in '96, and he turned it down. Eventually signed in 2001. He hesitates, holds up on ball 1. In 1999, he was at Long Beach State. The Astros drafted him, and he didn't sign that time either. He transferred from Long Beach to the University of Oklahoma, and it was then and there he signed with the Mariners. 1 ball and no strikes. Dobbs has a look at ball 2, 2-0 the count. So McGill, given a 3-0 lead, retired the side in order in the first, only to walk Ruggiano opening of the second, and here's Dobbs with Ozuna on deck. 2-0 the count. McGill out of a stretch, a look over at Ruggiano, and the 2-0 pitch on the way, and that's high, ball 3, 3-0. So AJ going out there to talk to him. When Dobbs was at Oklahoma, it certainly must have been a good time for him. While he was there, he hit .428 with 10 home runs, 62 runs batted in, and that's when he signed with Seattle. In September of 2004, Dobbs became the first Seattle player ever to homer in his first major league at bat. He's up there now, 3-0. Here comes McGill, and it's in there for a strike. 3-1 the count to Dobbs, hitting .224, 1 home run, 7 RBIs. Ozuna on deck. McGill ready and comes back, and it's swung on and fouled off. 3-2 the count to Dobbs. Marcell Ozuna is on deck. We have Ruggiano at first, and the Dodgers leading 3-0. Again, McGill trying to find the strike zone. 3-2, runner holds, and a broken bat, foul ball. In fact, he's holding the handle, and the remainder of the bat is in the seats alongside the Miami dugout. So Greg Dobbs fouls it, breaks the bat. All is well. It was a pitch, a fastball down around the knees, inside part of the plate, and the bat just came apart. So still 3-2. Dobbs gets a new one, brings it up. So the left-hand hitter waiting. Ruggiano off the bag at first. Dodgers lead 3-0 second inning, and the pitch is swung on, hit in the air to right field. Ethier has that, waiting and makes the catch. So a fly ball to right, 1 down. Ruggiano holds at first. And Marcell Ozuna coming up. Marcell Ozuna is from the Dominican Republic. You may remember Pablo Ozuna. Well, he's his cousin. Marcell called up last week when Giovanni Stanton was placed on the DL, and he had 4 multi-hit games and 6 extra base hits. So the right-hand hitter with power, they say. Throw to first. Ruggiano back on the bag. One down, second inning, 3-0 favor the Dodgers. Osuna signed by the Marlins 4 years ago, and the pitch to Marcell in for a strike. He spells that first name Marcell. Started playing back in 2008. He had 23 home runs at Greensboro and 24 at Jupiter in the Florida State League. So he has some sock. The strike one pitch on the way, and Osuna hits a fly ball to shallow center. Matt Kemp angling over and makes the catch. Holding on is Ruggiano. And we have 2 down, and Derek Dietrich coming up. So McGill trying to negotiate his way out and move on with the ball game. So Dietrich checking in. 2 out in the first inning. McGill ready to work to the left-hand hitter. Matt out of a stretch, looks over at first, now comes to the hitter and gets it in for a strike, and they count 0-1. Dietrich's only been in 1 game. He's 1 for 3 since being just called up. He had to come up when Donovan Solano went on the DL. The strike one pitch is a little high and away. 1-1 to count. Without Solano, without Stanton, without Logan Morrison, their first baseman, the Marlins have been certainly at a disadvantage. The 1-1 pitch is swung on and missed, and they count 1-2. Marlin management, as we said, took a big gamble, sending away all the well-known players. They also fired Ozzie Guillen with 3 years left on his contract. Here's the 1-2 pitch coming up. Taken high. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. 2 outs, second inning, with the Dodgers leading 3-0. Crawford singled, Punto walked, and Gonzalez hit a 3-run home run. Ruggiano at first, the pitch of the plate, breaking ball, got him looking. So Dietrich is caught looking. Miguel, no runs, no hits, a walk and a man left. And at the end of an inning and a half, Dodgers 3, Marlins nothing. National League East, to give you an idea what's going on there. Atlanta looked like they were going to run away. No more. Washington, a game and a half back. Phillies 6, Mets 6. Miami has dropped 11.5. Don't forget, Washington will be here on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. That'll be a big series. Bryce Harper is healthy. He's coming back. and so Washington will be that much stronger. Meanwhile, D. Gordon, a big swing and a foul ball, and the count 0-1 to D. Batting .316, but of course his average has been coming down. 3 RBIs. So Gordon, the left-hand hitter, waiting in the strike one pitch, a bunt up along third. Good bunt. Barehand pick up and throw just in time to get him. Nice play by the veteran Placido Polanco. So Gordon taps out, 1 away, and the batter will be Matt McGill. Polanco, who is such a good player and has been for so many years, made a very fine play on a very good bunt. Gordon would have beaten that against several third basemen in the league, but not Polanco. So here's McGill looking at a strike, and the count 0-1. Miami, like the Dodgers, struggling. One reason on the road, they are 5-14. The next pitch to McGill is in for a strike. The Dodgers on the road are 6-9. But the big problem for the Dodgers is the Western Division. Here's the strike 2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball got him looking. McGill knew it and walks away. 2 out. Within the division the Dodgers have to win if they're going anywhere. The Dodgers have found it a terrific struggle. They've only won 5 games against Western Division teams while losing 16. Put them in the Central Division, they've won 5 out of 6. And the pitch to Crawford, big swing, and he fouls it off, and the count 0-1. Crawford batting .307, opened up the game with a base hit to center. Then Punto walked, and Gonzalez hit a 3-run home run. 0-1 the count. Fernandez back, and there's a drive into dead center for a base hit. So Crawford is 2 for 2. By the way, you might as well throw out one of the stats that we gave you at the beginning of the game. If you were with us, we mentioned the fact that the Dodgers had 6 left-hand hitters in the lineup, and Fernandez was limiting left-hand batters to a .151 batting average. So we wondered what they do. Well, Crawford is 2 for 2. Punto walked. Gonzalez homered. So much for the left-handers. So Fernandez out of his stretch, working on Punto, but a throw to first. Crawford jumping back on the bag. For Carl Crawford, certainly a threat to go, especially against a 20-year-old right-hander. Crawford has stolen 6 out of 8, and he's held on by Greg Dobbs. 3-0 Dodgers, bottom of the second inning. Fernandez set, looks ready, and comes to the plate and gets it in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Fernandez, we mentioned earlier, tried to defect from Cuba 4 times. 3 times he was caught and sent back, and it was the times when he was sent back that he really talks about. Throw to first, not in time. He said the first time he was caught, he was completely ostracized. He was branded a traitor. They caught the party 10 miles from Miami, and he was sent back to Cuba. The strike 1 pitch on the way is taken off the plate. So the first time you defect, if you're caught, that's a month in jail. But as he said, when he was totally ostracized the first time, people wouldn't talk to him. His friends wouldn't talk to him. They were frightened. Family wouldn't even talk to him. So he lost everybody that first time. The 1-1, there goes Crawford. The pitch is a strike. The throw is late. So Crawford has stolen 7 out of 9. An effort by the catcher, Rob Brantley, down on his knees, trying to get the ball out to second base. Crawford had a good jump. The throw pretty accurate for a catcher on his knees. And Crawford just in there. No tag. So Crawford at second. 1-2 the count to Nick Punto. Fernandez ready. Jose comes back, and Crawford hesitates. It's a little roll at the first. The feed from Dobbs over to Fernandez, and that'll be that. So no runs, 1 hit, a man left. And at the end of 2, Dodgers 3, Marlins nothing. Third inning. Matt McGill ready to work to Rob Brantley. Then the pitcher, Jose Fernandez and Juan Pierre. Rob Brantley is a San Diego boy. Went to the University of California, Riverside, and was signed by the Tigers just 3 years ago. Left-hand batter and takes it a little high. Ball 1. Got his first set of catching gear when he was 5 years old. The 1-0 pitch is inside. It was a gift from his grandfather, who was a catcher in the Panamanian Professional League. And as Rob said, I remember very well sleeping in the catcher's gear that night. He lifts one foul off third, and that will go back into the stands out of play. So Rob Brantley, he is 23. He'll be 24 the middle of July. 4 years ago, he passed up the Nationals when they offered him. He went to Chaparral High School in Temecula. The 2-1 pitch to Rob Brantley, swung on, fouled away, 2-2. Finally, didn't take him long. Started professionally in 2010. Came up briefly, 31 games last year. He hit .290. So here's the 2-2 pitch on the way, and Brantley takes around the eyes, ball 3. So 3-2 to catcher Rob Brantley. McGill ready and deals way inside all the way to the backstop for ball 4. So McGill fighting it a little bit, has walked 2. Dangerous to walk anybody, but especially the leadoff man. And he walked Ruggiano leading off the second, and now Brantley here in the third. Jose Fernandez with the bat, hitting .125. He has 1 run batted in. 0-1 the count. Dodgers have Punto in on the grass looking bunt. He shows bunt. Tries to, fouls it back, and the count 0-1. So Jose Fernandez trying to move his man along, Rob Brantley. No balls and 1 strike. The next pitch to Jose. Bunt sharply to Gonzalez. Down to second for one. Back to first. Double play. So Fernandez, who once used a bat made by his grandmother, she took a tree limb and fashioned it with a machete into a bat. But this time he bunts into a double play with a big league bat. And we have two down, third inning, and the batter will be Juan Pierre. So a double play from 1 to 6 to 4. Pierre coming up. We mentioned earlier about Juan Pierre, 1,812 singles. You think that's a lot? He takes a strike. There are others with more. For instance, Derek Jeter has over 2,400 singles. Ichiro has 2,100. But I'll tell you one thing nobody has since 2000. No player in the big leagues has stolen third base more often than Juan Pierre. He has stolen third 129 times, swings and doesn't get it. Same old Pierre. If he gets at second base, he's a threat to do it again. He has stolen third 4 times this year. 1-2 the count. Juan swings, cuts a line drive single to center for hit number 1. So Juan Pierre, one of the hardest working players to ever play the game. Wherever he has gone, they attest to his ability to work out. He got a pitch up and just spanked it into center field. Ichiro has stolen third 104 times, but the remarkable thing about Juan Pierre stealing third, he's only been caught 15 times while stealing it 129. Right now, as he stands over at first base, he has stolen 12 out of 14. 2 down, top of the third, 3-0 Dodgers. Pierre inching off the bag. Echevarria waiting at the plate. Athene, right-hand batter. Pierre has never seen McGill pitch, so he's trying to explore what kind of a move he has. McGill, a high set, backs off the rubber. Dodgers lead 3-0. One swing of the bat. That by Adrian Gonzalez with 2 men aboard. Echevarria just waiting on McGill. Pierre takes his lead, not a big lead. He holds on and the pitch is off the plate. 1 ball and no strikes. Who was the number 1 man of stealing third base? Well, anytime the subject is a stolen base. Not a bad guess to say Ricky Henderson. Henderson stole third 322 times. Next pitch foul back. Vince Coleman from the Cardinals. He stole third 190 times. And then you have Juan 129. Davey Lopes stole a lot of bases, but I don't remember him stealing third a lot. Not in those kind of numbers. 1 ball and 1 strike the count to Echevarria from Cuba. Right hand hitter waiting. McGill very deliberate. Now the 1-1 pitch. Ground ball slowly to short. Gordon quickly for the forced play at second base. And that's the inning, thanks to the bunt that was turned into a double play. And at the end of 2.5 innings, Dodgers 3, Miami 0. 3-0. Miami will be here tomorrow night at 6:10 and again Sunday afternoon. Then the Washington Nationals in second place behind Atlanta will be coming in. And when the Dodgers finish here with Washington, their first stop on the road is Atlanta. So they have some tough games to play. Following Atlanta, 3 in Milwaukee, and then the Dodgers come home and play the Cardinals and the Angels. So make your plans, and we'll see you at Dodger Stadium. Adrian Gonzalez with a 3-run home run. Second time around, takes a strike, and the count 0-1. After Crawford had singled and Punto walked, Adrian hit one over the center field wall to give the Dodgers a quick 3. Batting .349. Fernandez looks into Brantley to get a sign. Now the strike one pitch on the way. Swung all a little late, and the count 0-2. We'll repeat it in case you weren't with us earlier. The fact that to protect themselves, should that neck flare up and Adrian unable to answer the bell, Dodgers brought up Scott Van Slyke, who's been playing first base at Albuquerque, and sent back Elian Herrera. Here's the strike 2 pitch on the way, and Gonzalez grounds it to the hole. The shortstop Hechavarria throws in time for the out. So Gonzalez ground ball 1 away, and the batter will be Matt Kemp. By the way, don't miss Matt Kemp bobblehead night. That's Tuesday. The Dodgers and the Nationals. Their first 50,000 fans in attendance take home a mini home run posing Kemp bobblehead, compliments of United Healthcare. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Matt, with an 8-game hitting streak, struck out in the first inning. Fernandez comes with a slider and gets it in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Matt hitting .270. Now the strike one pitch on the way. Fernandez back fastball. That's foul back, and the count 0-2. You have to go back to the end of April, 23rd, 24th, and 25th. That's when the Dodgers were playing in City Park in New York against the Mets, and that's where Matt hit his home run, right down the right field line. It was not a typical Kemp blast at all. Strike 2 pitch, no. They're afraid Matt would be quick pitch. Time called immediately by Tom Hallion. No balls and 2 strikes. Kemp back up and waiting. Fernandez back with a fastball on the outside corner, strike 3 call. So he struck him out with a slider, now strikes him out on a fastball looking. Outside part of the plate. No balls, 2 strikes, and down goes Matt, looking at a fastball. So with 2 out in the third inning, Andre Ethier coming up. Ethier grounded out in the first inning. Andre hitting .241. 3 home runs, 10 runs batted in. Fernandez ready and delivers fastball, hits slowly to Dietrich. Second baseman picks it up and throws him out. And so Fernandez comes back nicely after a rocky first inning. And at the end of 3, Dodgers 3, Miami nothing. inning single by Carl Crawford, a walk to Punto, and then Adrian Gonzalez hitting his home run with 2 men aboard, his 4th of the year, and the Dodgers lead 3-0. Matt McGill has had just a little trouble to the leadoff man. He walked Ruggiano in the 2nd inning, walked Brantley in the 3rd, but he's leading 3-0 and ready to face Polanco, Ruggiano, and Dobbs in that order. Placido Polanco, we just saw him make a fine play on that slow roller, the bunt by Gordon. You might not know it, but he's the best fielding second baseman all time. But Polanco playing 3rd. When Polanco was in youth baseball, you know who his coach was? Manny Mota. And Mota promised Polanco if he graduated from high school with good grades, he'd get him a baseball scholarship. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's taken outside, ball 2. And when Polanco graduated, Mota came through with a scholarship offer from a junior college in Southern California. But Polanco asked for another location. He said, that's too far away. He holds up on ball 3. So he wound up going to Miami-Dade Community College, and that's where the Cardinals picked him up. Placido Polanco. Now the 3-0 pitch on the way, and that's low. So for whatever reason, Matt McGill having trouble with the leadoff man. He walked Ruggiano in the 2nd. He walks Brantley in the 3rd. Now he walks Polanco in the 4th. So 3 walks.
Center fielder, number 20, Justin Ruggiano.
Justin Ruggiano, originally signed by the Dodgers, comes to Dodger Stadium in a Miami uniform. First pitch to him is off the plate, ball 1, 1-0. The Rays tracked down Ruggiano when he was in Dallas because outfielder Carl Crawford was injured. What was Ruggiano doing? He was on vacation in Dallas after driving 20 hours home to Austin following the Durham Bulls loss. So it's interesting how the players' lives are intertwined, and Ruggiano got here because Crawford was hurt. Now they're head-to-head against each other. Ruggiano walked in the 2nd inning. 3-0 in favor of the Dodgers. Out of a stretch goes McGill. Here we go. That's going to go foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1 pitch is taken for a strike. 1-2. So Matt McGill working on Ruggiano. 4th inning. 3-0 Dodgers. Polanco short lead at first. And the next one is just off the plate. McGill had made 45 pitches coming into the inning. He's now up to 54. 2-2. Ball 3. I remember when Matt made his debut, we had a picture of his mom Valerie, his dad Pete, his wife Melissa, and Matt's sister Molly, but we have no idea where they are tonight. 3-2, and the pitch is swung on and missed. So down goes Ruggiano, 1 out. For McGill, that would be his 2nd strikeout, and the batter will be Greg Dobbs. It was a fastball, nothing fancy, to put him away. Dobbs flied to right field in the 2nd inning. Left-hand hitter, ready to step in. Dodgers lead 3-0. We're in the 4th. Gregg swings, hits a high foul ball down the right field line. A trio of Dodgers, and it is Schumacher who makes the catch, banging into the boards. Skip Schumacher has made 2 good plays. One on Polanco in the 4th inning when he made a sprawling catch on the warning track in foul ground. This time he had to double over the fence just off first base. So Skip, who does a great job wherever and whenever they use him, which is why he's been in the major leagues so long. A great hustling play by Skip Schumacher. 2 out. And the batter, Marcell Ozuna, who flied to center 0 for 1. Ozuna, right-hand batter. Strike, 0 and 1. Ozuna usually, they say, has a high leg kick. We'll see if he lifts that left leg much. No. So he might have had it once upon a time and discarded it. You have the runner at first, Polanco, 2 out. 3-0 Dodgers in the 4th. That's at the knuckles. 2 and 1 the count. Two and 1. That's another strike. 2-2. Mike Redmond, who is the manager of the Marlins, actually managed at Dunedin in the Blue Jays organization. And the first time he saw Ozuna was when he was with Jupiter. Said he had one pants leg down and one up high. And I thought, what's wrong with that guy? Turned out that Ozuna was just having fun. He likes to play, likes to swing the bat. Some people thought that he reminded them of Sammy Sosa. So Redmond watching him now. 3 and 2 with 2 out, runner going, and it's fouled off. Marcell Ozuna. Ozuna's only 22. He'll be 23 in November. Been playing for 4 years. We'll try it again. Polanco goes, and the pitch is way off the plate. So McGill has allowed a base hit to Pierre, and that's it. But he's been fighting the walks. So he's walked 2 in the inning. He's walked 4, and his pitch count's up to 64. And now Derek Dietrich, who struck out in the 2nd inning, coming up. Dietrich, left-hand batter with 2 on, so he represents the tying run. McGill a look at the runners and throws inside, almost hit the batter. 1 ball and no strikes. Derek Dietrich, a non-roster player. He's from Cleveland, 23 years old. Came from Tampa Bay. He takes very high, 2-0. So Lyle, Yunel Escobar was involved in the deal that brought Dietrich to Miami. Dietrich went to Georgia Tech. 2-0 to Derek. Time. Among other things, they say that Dietrich is an accomplished juggler. His sister is a professional ice skater, figure skater. 2-0, taken for a strike. 2-1 the count to Derek Dietrich. 2 on walks, 2 out. No doubt about the fact that McGill fighting his control, but he's only allowed 1 hit. So you have Polanco and Ozuna out on the lines, and the 2-1 pitch to Dietrich, slap foul upstairs off to the left. and the count 2-2. So the deuces, they are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on. And the Dodgers lead 3-0 in the 4th inning. Kevin Slowey and Hyun-Jin Ryu tomorrow night. Tom Kohler pitching for Miami against Chris Capuano Sunday afternoon. 2-2 pitch is way off the mark. Sometimes fellas are wild statistically. They're just missing and the walks pile up. But McGill, he's pretty much everywhere right now. Big pitch for him. 3-2 with 2 on. Runners go, and the pitch is hit to right and deep. Back goes Ethier, but this one's going into the pavilion. And just like that, a 3-3 tie. Derek Dietrich, who might be a juggler, but he just hit the Dodgers at the juggler. A 3-run home run. For Dietrich, playing only his 2nd game for Miami. And he got a 3-2 fastball, and he knew what to do with it. Rick Honeycutt is going out to talk to Matt McGill. No doubt about that. It went back in a good 5 rows. All Ethier did was kind of turn to watch it. So a 3-run home run in the 1st inning by Adrian Gonzalez is topped by a 3-run home run by Derek Dietrich. And we're 3-3 in the 4th inning. So Polanco, who walked, and Ozuna, who walked, all up on the boards. 3 runs, 2 hits for Miami. 3 runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers. The ball has been returned, and it will be given to Dietrich, his first major league home run, and they'll put that in his locker. So a big night for Derek Dietrich. Now the batter is Rob Brantley, and he takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Brantley walked in the 3rd inning. So Miami 3 runs on 2 hits. Dodgers 3 runs on 4 hits. The big Jose Fernandez is now even and ready to set sail in the bottom of the 4th. 1-1. And that's going to go foul down the right field line. Well out of play. 1-2. The Marlins, with that home run, have hit 20. The Dodgers have hit a total of 23. One ball and 2 strikes. Missed inside, 2-2. So McGill, struggling, has made 74 pitches now in a 3-3 tie. And hit him, I believe. Yep. So 4 walks and a hit batsman. And the batter in a moment will be Jose Fernandez. Fernandez tried to sacrifice in the 3rd inning and bunted into a double play. 3-3 in the 4th. Two out. McGill set and delivers, and it's fouled away. 0-1. I'm at that stage where I confess I remember things that maybe never happened. And maybe Rob Menchel can help me. Way back in the mists of time, I remember the Dodgers played a game at Ebbets Field. Dodgers, I think, lost the game. The pitcher was Herman Wiemeyer, who pitched for Cincinnati. When? I have no idea. Probably in the 50s. But he pitched the most amazing game I think I ever saw, if indeed I saw it. You know, I'm qualifying everything I say. But I think Wiemeyer went the distance allowed 9 runs, 10 hits, and walked 9, and he still won the game. Now, it might just have been something I've eaten, but I keep thinking of that game, and I'm watching McGill, who has done far better. He's only walked 4, hit a batter, allowed a home run, and he's even 3-3. 2-2 the count. High chopper up the middle, over second, into center field, and Jose Fernandez comes up with a base hit. And let's see, he already has a hit. He was 1 for 8 coming into the game. So more troubles for Matt McGill. And Juan Pierre coming up. 3-3 in the 4th inning. So the Marlins, with runners at first and second, tied up 3-3 with the Dodgers. Pierre flied to left, single to center, 1 for 2. Fastball strike. Pierre started the game hitting .239, and he is 1 for 2. Proud possessor of 1,813 singles. Strike 1 pitch. Swung on, popped up, foul ground. Adrian Gonzalez makes the play. So it was a struggle. McGill gets through the inning, but not before he gives up a 3-run home run to Derek Dietrich, and we're all even 3-3. On your Kia retailers, visit mysocalkia.com. By Time Warner, enjoy all the things you love better. 1-855-1-TWC. And by your SoCal Ram dealers, visit ramtrucks.com today. Well, we take a look at the sports update. First of all, St. Louis knocks off Colorado 3-0 behind Millers. Complete game 1 hitter, and we'll talk more about Shelby Miller in a moment. Meanwhile, Phillies are leading Arizona 2-1 in this 6th inning, with Rollins hitting a leadoff home run. Giants edging Atlanta right now. They're in the 4th inning, 2-0 San Francisco behind Matt Cain. Shelby Miller of the Cardinals became the 3rd pitcher 22 or younger to throw a 1-hit shutout with at least 13 strikeouts and no walks. The other 2, Dwight Gooden and Kerry Wood. So here we go, bottom of the 4th, and a strike to A.J. Ellis. Ellis doubled in the 1st inning, hitting .278. Fernandez missing with the curveball. 1-1 the count. Ellis has 2 home runs, 9 runs batted in. 3-3 in the 4th. And a slider for a strike. 1-2. 20 years old, Jose Fernandez. Foul back. AJ hanging tough at 278. He's had 27 hits. Fastball fouled off. We were talking before about the background of Jose Fernandez defecting 4 times, finally making it, rescuing his mom from drowning en route one time. That's popped in the air, foul, coming over as Dobbs, no play. Anyway, by the time Fernandez and the family settled in, his father had fled Cuba back in 2005, settled in Tampa. And then his dad set out to get his son instruction to become a pitcher. And there's a gentleman named Chinea, it's like Chinea, a renowned trainer and pitching coach in Cuba. Then he had defected and lived in Tampa. So the father decided he'd have his young Jose go see Chinea. Foul back. By the way, when Chinea escaped Cuba in 2008, he was on the same boat with Kendrys Morales and others. Anyway, Chinea really got to work with the youngster, and he said he wasn't a pitcher, he was just a boy, even though he was throwing about 82. Slider, foul back. They rarely saw Jim. Chinea preferred sweating under the sun, designing workouts that included everything from chopping down trees to flipping truck tires to pushing cars to running in the sand. All of this to get his legs ready to be a pitcher. 1-2. Fastball, got him. So he gave him everything he had, puts him away with a fastball. 1 out in the 4th inning.
Second baseman, number 3.
That is the 4th strikeout for Jose Fernandez. Take a look at the first pitch strike. He's getting almost all of them, 13 of 15, which is a great way to pitch. So he's pitching ahead of the hitters, where McGill, the opposite, is pitching behind. Anyway, let's get back to Chinea teaching this kid how to pitch. Off speed, breaking ball for a strike, 0-1. Another thing he had Fernandez doing, which you never hear of, he had him using baseballs that weighed different ounces, not just the typical 5-ounce baseball. Fouled away. And the balls would range from around 3 ounces to 7 ounces. The lighter ones would increase arm acceleration. The heavier ones facilitated explosiveness, somewhat like a hitter using a heavy bat to warm up and then the lighter bat to swing. 0-2. Fastball fouled away. And this is really odd, and yet I guess was all part of his training. Chinea instructed Jose to count his steps from the dugout to the mound and to count his steps from the mound back to the dugout, and if they didn't match, something was wrong. Now how about that? But it was all part of his training, and heck, here he is. First round pick, you know he signed a multi-million-dollar contract. 0-2 the count to Skip Schumacher. Count the steps back and forth. When Jose was a senior at Alonzo High School, he committed to a scholarship to the University of South Florida, but he didn't sign. Oh, a vicious breaking ball, and that takes care of Schumacher. And now all of a sudden you start to believe. When the game started, you thought, well, maybe it's a little hype. You know, a base hit, and a walk, and then a home run. But he has settled in. He has now struck out 5. And the batter will be D. Gordon. He's retired 6 in a row. Gordon grounded out in the second inning, 0-for-1. 3-3, bottom of the 4th. Fastball and a strike. What a difference from McGill, and that fastball 96. Because he is about 240. Another fastball pulled to first. That's Dobbs' play, and that's that. So Jose Fernandez is now very much at home. He's retired 7 in a row. And at the end of 4, after counting his steps back to the dugout, I'm sure it's a 3-3 tie. Time now for our Twitter poll. How do you think Major League Baseball umpires compare with other major sports officiating? Generally better, about the same, on average, or worse? Tweet hashtag MLB umps and then better, same, or worse. And keep tuning in to see the results. I'm almost embarrassed that I actually remember. You can tell what I carry around between my ears. I said to you earlier, I can't be responsible for thinking I remember it because, you know, maybe it never happened. Anyway, the inimitable Rob Menchel got on that magical computer, and I'll read the results in a minute. Echevarria fly to center, hit into a force play, 0-for-2. Chopper to the hole, backhanded by Gordon. The long throw on a bounce in time. Nice play at the other end by Adrian Gonzalez. Okay. Sunday, May the 21st, 1950. A pitcher, Herman Wiemeyer, 23 years old, pitching for the Cincinnati Reds. Cincinnati beat Brooklyn 10-9. Wiemeyer, 9 innings, 10 hits, 9 runs, 9 walks, 8 strikeouts, and 165 pitches. Time of game, 3 hours and 30 minutes, 21,366, and me saw it happen. How in the world I could remember that Wow. That great mind that can only keep a cold in its head for an hour remembers something like Herman Wiemeyer. 2-1 to count. So Matt McGill has a heck of a lot longer road than that day that Herman Wiemeyer pitched. 2-2. Tell you, I was wrong on one thing though. In my mind, way back there then, I thought it might have been at night. Well, it was Sunday afternoon. Maybe it was cloudy and gray and dark. Maybe. 2-2 to Placido Polanco. But did you notice, and I certainly didn't know that they even counted, 165 pitches Herman made. Yes, those were the old days, friends. 3-2. Ground ball to D. 2 out, 5th inning. Matt McGill pitching in front of his family. Of course, he's trying to block all that out. From right to left, there would be his dad. That would be Pete. His mom, Valerie. His wife is at the end. That would be Melissa. And between Mom and Melissa, his sister Molly. Matt getting 2 outs on ground balls. And the batter now Ruggiani, who walked and struck out. 0-1 to Justin. Dodgers had a 3-run home run by Adrian Gonzalez. Derek Dietrich hit a 3-run home run by Miami. And here we are, 3-3 in the 5th. Last year, the Dodgers won 4 out of 6 from Miami. That's a high drive to right. Ethier going back, way back, track, wall. He got it. So the Marlins go down 1-2-3, and at the end of 4.5 innings, a 3-3 tie. That Fernandez, after the first inning, has suddenly found himself. Now, not only is it interesting to see he's thrown 47 strikes and missed the zone only 9 times. Here's the big difference. The first 4 batters that he faced, that would be Crawford single, Punto walk, Gonzalez homered, and then Kemp struck out. Those first 4 batters, he missed the strike zone 7 times and had 9 strikes. The last 13 batters, he has missed the strike zone twice. 38 strikes out of 40 pitches for the last 13 batters. I should say he has found himself. And we go to the bottom of the fifth, 3-3. Juan Uribe will be batting for Matt McGill, who made 93 pitches. Slider, ball one. Down in the pen, J.P. Howell. Meanwhile, Rick Honeycutt talking about McGill's move. Good breaking ball that has Uribe bailing out. 1-1. That was a big curveball. Meanwhile, a beach ball is loose in left field, so a beach ball specialist has been sent to remove it. 1-1 to Juan Uribe. Uribe hitting .220. Fastball. And that fastball was clocked at 97. How'd you like to come off the bench as a pinch hitter in the middle of a game and try to catch up to a 97-mile-an-hour fastball? Whoa. He has struck out 5. Fastball hit the center. Coming up is Ruggiano, but he'll have to play it on a hop. So Uribe off the bench, singles to center. And now Crawford, Punto, and Gonzalez. A reminder, Mother's Day, you can give your mom the gift of Dodger baseball. The first 40,000 fans in attendance receive a tote bag, compliments of Murad Skincare. And after the game, moms and their families invited to enjoy a walk around the park. So for tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Crawford is 2 for 2 against Fernandez. Fastball slap foul. It should be duly noted, by the way, Uribe, who fouled off a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, single to center on a 98-mile fastball. So they are remarkable. The eye-hand coordination of a major league player, sensational. And that's going to be smoked into center. So all of a sudden the Dodgers wake up after 7 in a row retired, where it looked like Fernandez was definitely in charge. Now back-to-back singles. Nobody out. Punto, Gonzalez, and Kemp due up. And the question is, will the Dodgers have Punto bunt? So there'll be a meeting at the mound to figure out how to position the players. Punto, meanwhile, will meet with Tim Wallach. Chuck Hernandez, the pitching coach, holding fourth on the mound. Uribe at second, Crawford at first, nobody out. Punto, good bunter. Nick has 2 sacrifices and a couple of bunt singles. So Polanco is on the edge of the grass. Dobbs is up in front of the runner at the edge of the grass, so they're looking bunt. Punto showing bunt. Pulls it back, ball 1. Wallach checking. One ball and no strikes. He's showing bunt. Missed it for a strike. They throw down. Got him at second base. Juan Uribe trying to get an extra step on a bunt. Pays the price. Rob Brantley alertly firing down to Hechavarria. And Uribe is hung out to dry. Big play. 2-6. throw a little high, but the tag on the hand, and right there, second base umpire Chris Guccione able to call. That was a pretty good tag to get the hand, and that had to hurt Uribe. Crawford at first. Crawford has stolen second in the second inning, though he is 7 out of 9. 1-1 the count to Punto. Adrian Gonzalez on deck. Jose Fernandez, 1-2 in his 7th major league game. Three, bottom of the 5th, 1 out. The runner starts to go, then holds up. 1-2. So Crawford put on a pretty good fake. Started down the line. Punto has walked and grounded out. Nick 0 for 1, hitting .355. Crawford takes a little time. Punto didn't want it and backed out. One and two. Carl not gone. 2-2 the count to Nick Punto. Nick with a home run, 7 runs batted in. Adrian Gonzalez waiting on deck. Rob Brantley made a huge play to pick up Uribe. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Crawford not going, and strike 3 called. Outside corner at the knees. Nick walks away. Big pitch. Take another look. Right there. So 2 out. Crawford at first. Gonzalez at the plate. With 2 out, you would be pretty sure Crawford would try to go. They will certainly try to keep an eye on him. You have Matt Kemp hitting behind Gonzalez. You may or may not know that Zach Greinke was pitching tonight to be tested and see how it felt. I'll tell you about it in a moment. There goes Crawford, and it's fouled off. Greinke went 4 1/3 innings and made 80 pitches. Most importantly, Ken Gernick reminds us no issues with the collarbone. So Don Mattingly was saying before the game, we want to see how Greinke comes out of it. He hasn't swung a bat except a little off the tee. He hasn't taken batting practice. He'll go around 75 pitches, and as long as the doctors think he's good enough to pitch, we'll let him pitch. So in other words, we'll wait and see. 0-1. Crawford was going. Not going. Fouled away. So Adrian in a hole, no balls and 2 strikes. In the first inning, 2 on, nobody out, and right out in the middle of the plate. And Adrian jumped all over it, hitting it over the center field fence and up there about 4 or 5 rows. 4 home runs, 26 runs batted in. Well, watch Crawford, 0-2, which could be pitch out time. Crawford does not go on strike 3. So 1 minute, the Dodgers had first and second, nobody out. Next thing, innings over on the kickoff of Uribe. 3-3. The Dodgers beat the Cardinals in 12 innings, but it was also game number 3,000 in Tommy's career as a manager. How did it work out? Well, he won 2 World Championships, he won 4 pennants, and he won 8 division titles. And he also won the love of his wife, Jo. It's nice to point it out. They're celebrating their 63rd wedding anniversary tonight. And with that, let's go back to this one. For the Dodgers, J.P. Howell has been brought in, and he'll be facing Greg Dobbs, Marcell Ozuna, and then Derek Dietrich. So Howell picking up for McGill. Matt made 93 pitches, went 5, and has neither a win nor a loss, except a good experience. And a strike, 0-1. Greg Dobbs flied to right and fouled out. Nice running play by Skip Schumacher, banging into the wall beyond first base. He's made 2 wonderful plays on foul balls. 0-1. Breaking ball off the plate. In the 4th inning, 3-run home run by Derek Dietrich canceled out the 3-run home run by Adrian Gonzalez. So with 3-3 in the 6th. Breaking ball just foul. So Dobbs comes back to try it again. Dobbs, as we mentioned, went to Long Beach State and then transferred to the University of Oklahoma. He lives over in Moreno Valley. Time 1-2 to Greg. Dobbs has had a good career. Signed with the Mariners. Spent quite a few years at San Antonio getting ready for the Mariners. Then he played 4 years with the Phillies, and this would be his 4th year with the Marlins. 1-2. chase, a little dribble at a short. Gordon kind of winds up, throws him out. I was wondering if you came to the game to see your son, husband, brother start the game as a pitcher, and if your husband, son, or brother eventually leaves the game, do you leave? Well, I looked, and the McGills are still here. Yep, there they are. Of course, Matt's not going anywhere, so they will stay and hang out and meet him after the game. Marcell Ozuna fly to center and walked. Playing right field. And then Derek Dietrich on deck. Two and 0 the count. In the Dodger bullpen, Matt Guerrier begins to warm up. And the fastball missed. When the Dodgers come up in the sixth, it'll be Kemp, Ethier, and Ellis. And meanwhile, Howell has to hold the fort. Strike. 3-1 to Ozuna. Fastball, 3-2. One out, top of the sixth inning in a 3-3 tie. Dodgers scored 3 in the first inning. Marlins got their 3 in the fourth. A chopper to Gordon. Throws on the run. Gets him on a close play. Ozuna runs very well. And we have 2 down in the sixth inning. So Howell gets a couple of ground balls. Now he'll work on Derek Dietrich. Derek was born in Parma, Ohio. Lives in Cleveland. Went to school, as we mentioned earlier, Georgia Tech. When he was 7 years old, they tell us, he was already taking batting practice on minor league fields and sitting next to scouts holding a radar gun. His maternal grandfather, Steve Demeter, is a former big league third baseman. 1-1. It was Steve Demeter who pretty much taught Derek how to play this game. And he was taking batting practice when he was about 6 or 7 years old. In the minor leagues, Derek hit 272 home runs. Demeter then managed in the minors and became a scout. So Steve Demeter had a lot of power, which you really can't teach. But Dietrich had 21 home runs in the low minors at Bowling Green. 2-2 the count. J.P. Howell picking up in this 3-3 tie after McGill went 5 and allowed 3 runs, 3 hits. And that's going to be hit to third. Hunter gets it across. So it's a 1-2-3 inning. Last 7 in a row retired. Howell walks off. Bottom of the 6th coming up. 3-3. walks. McGill walked 4. Fernandez only 1. Fernandez has struck out 7. McGill has nailed only 2. And Fernandez pretty much in control after the first 3 hitters. Remember, Crawford single, Punto walk, Gonzalez homered. McGill was fighting his control throughout 5 innings and made 93 pitches. Meanwhile, Jose Fernandez has made 70 pitches, going to work in the bottom of the 6th. Matt Kemp, Andre Ethier, and A.J. Ellis. He struck Kemp out on a slider the first time, caught him looking at a fastball the last time. Fastball, strike. Matt hitting .268, 1 home run, 14 runs batted in. Jose Fernandez is 20 years old. 1-1. 6'2", about 242 pounds. You think he's ready for this year? Well, look at what he did last year. In the minor leagues, he was 14-1 with an earned run average of 1.7. Well, I guess they figured he was ready. Fastball, ball 2, 2-1. Fernandez throwing very hard, 97, 98. As we pointed out, however, Uribe came off the bench and hit a 98-mile-an-hour fastball for a base hit, only to get picked off second base. There's the breaking ball hit to right center and deep. Ruggiano on the dead run, one-hand hit. Justin Ruggiano runs down a drive after the fastballs. Kemp got a breaking ball up. And it's a long out to right center. Nice play by Justin. Got a good jump on the ball and picked it off. Especially good on the road. There you go, says Jose. So 1 away. Now Andre Ethier twice rolled out to Derek Dietrich, the second baseman. Hitting .239. Fastball popped up, shallow left. Going out for it is Hechavarria. And just like that, 2 down.
Dodger catcher, A.J. Ellis.
They say last year, at one stage of last year, during the season when Fernandez went 14-1, at one time he took the field wearing orange shoes with an orange glove. And I guess somebody said, oh, that might be okay down there, but this is the big leagues. Uniformly dressed. He's got 2 out, 6th inning, and a 3-3 tie. Little slider for a strike, 0-1. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Ronald Belisario begins to loosen up. 0-1. Skip Schumacher on deck. Another slider, but he missed with this one. 1 ball and 1 strike. They say that Jose speaks flawless English. He taught himself the language. Fastball and behind 2-1. Two balls and 1 strike. By the way, Fernandez due up second when Miami hits. Breaking ball whacked into left field, base hit. So Ellis comes up with his second hit. He's 2 for 3. And the batter will be Schumacher. Three runs, 7 hits for the Dodgers. 3 runs, 3 hits for Miami. Slice down the line. Fair ball. Ellis on his way to third. Into second base goes Schumacher. And D. Gordon will be coming up. Second and third, 2 out in a 3-3 tie. Sinking fastball, a two-seamer, and Skip drives it just on the chalk. Right there. Second and third with 2 out. D. Gordon has grounded to third, grounded to first. 4 fingers. Are they going to walk him? Looks that way. Yep. Tim Fedorovich is out on deck. And they're going to walk D. Gordon intentionally, which you will not see very often, but you're looking at it right now. So Redmond informed the catcher, put him on, and in a moment, FedEx, as they call him, Fedorovich will be coming up. Tim with the Dodgers in spring training. He was here for opening day, eventually went down. So Tim Fedorovich in a moment will be coming up with the bases loaded. 2 out and a 3-3 tie as Gordon takes the walk. Fedorovich with the Dodgers has had a total of 6 at-bats, and he is 0 for 6. Dodgers really see a future in Tim Fedorovich, even though they went out and picked up the veteran Ramon Hernandez. They still think very, very highly of Fedorovich. Fedorovich batted for Clayton Kershaw and grounded out in Clayton's game. 0-1. That was 97. So Ellis singled. Schumacher doubles into third. They walk Gordon intentionally with 2 out. 0-1. Fastball lifted to shallow center. Ruggiano. And so the Dodgers lead 3 in the 6th inning. Fernandez out of the jam. And at the end of 6, a 3-3 tie. Time for our Twitter poll question and results. Do you remember? How do you think Major League Baseball umpires compare with the other major sports officiating? Well, 37% says better, 22% said about the same, 41% says worse. Well, it's pretty hard for the umpires to ever get a decision their way. But we do know, after watching them day after day and year after year, the rather remarkable job that they do. We have all kinds of high-priced cameras that can slow every dang down, and most of the time they're on the money. Meanwhile, Ronald Belisario will pick up 3-3. 3 runs and 3 hits. The Dodgers 3 runs, 8 hits, leaving the bases loaded in the 6th inning. So Belisario will be pitching to Rob Brantley. Meanwhile, Jose Fernandez is due to come up, but he's not going to come up. They're going to go to the bench. It'll be Chris Coghlan. Remember that name? Is he not the fellow who crashed into Buster Posey? Or have I got somebody else wrong? That's a strike. Brantley is walked, hit by a pitch, so he's not been up officially. 3 runs for the Dodgers on 8 hits. 0-2. And we'll forget about Chris Coghlan. Scott Cousins was the man who ran into Posey. And Rob Brantley probably singles to right field. Then Chris Coghlan coming up. So we've seen the 20-year-old phenom, and he lived up to everything that we had heard. He gave up that 3-run home run ball to Adrian Gonzalez, but he joins a long list of pitchers. And now here's Coghlan. Chris is out of Gaithersburg, Maryland, went to school at the University of Mississippi. Young Jose, who lived through 4 defection attempts, finally made it in the boat and the sharks and the waves, and had to dive into the water and rescue his mom. And it's interesting that with all of that behind him, when he comes off the field, he jumps over the first base foul line. Like that's going to change his life if he walks across. 0-1 to count, but he is a fine-looking young pitcher and 20 years old. High drive to center. Kemp on his horse. It's over his head. And that's going to be off the top of the wall. And in a moment, runners at second and third. That thing almost went out. That was awfully close. And I believe there's going to be an argument on it. Mike Redmond going out to look. Redmond wants to talk naturally to the second base umpire, Chris Guccione. See, now the umpires had to call that in real time. He's going to talk to Phil Cuzzy. We can have the ability, I think, to slow it down and take a look. Redmond talking to Cuzzy as Coghlan hits one off the center field wall. Here we go. Take a look. Right there. Yeah, it hit the top of the wall, went high in the air and came back into play. So to get back to what we were talking about, I mean, they had 1 fraction of a second. We're showing it, and they're going to go and look at it, which is a smart idea. So that's a heads-up play by the umpires. First to get the call correct. I think if Mike Redmond had the chance to look at it as we have, you could see the ball hitting the top of the fence, but coming back. So Coghlan comes off the bench and doubles. And there are runners at second and third and nobody out. So Belisario in a jam. Coughlin talking to Jose Espada, the third base coach. Going to be talking about what to do, where a ball is hit. So the umpires are in the process of looking at what we just showed you. The ball hit the top of the fence right there. Went high in the air. Didn't touch anything else. Now, isn't that great? And they didn't have all this equipment. They just made the call, and they were absolutely 100% correct. So in a moment, the umpires will be back. We will pick up a 3-3 tie. Belisario up to his hips in trouble. And with second and third, you have Pierre, Echevarria, and then Polanco coming up. So Chris Coughlin, who has power, but not a lot of it. He's never hit more than 10 home runs, even in the minor leagues. But Chris hits the wall. Miami in a sweet spot. Second and third, nobody out. So Coughlin, of course, chewing his gum and hoping, but here come the umpires. It's going to be a double, and rightly called. It wasn't a bad idea for Mike Redmond to go out and appeal, but that's all it did. It hit the top of the pad and came back into play. So now second and third, nobody out. Pierre, Echevarria, and Polanco. And of course, Pierre is a contact hitter. In the infield, they pull up the corners. And ball one. Check about Pierre. He has struck out, are you ready? 12 times the whole year. 1 ball and no strikes. The infield up. Second and third, nobody out. Pierre has flied to left, single to center, and popped up. Almost pulled the trigger and didn't. 1-1. Pierre this year with runners in scoring position, hitting only 136. One and one. Fastball fouled away. Remember earlier we were talking about Juan Pierre and the fact he has stolen third 129 times. Time went by, a chance to look it up. Davey Lopes stole third 83 times. As Davey looks on. One ball and 2 strikes. Fastball away. The paid attendance tonight, 41,721. 4-1-7-2-1. Came out to see Jose Fernandez, and he is a force to be reckoned with. 2-2. Fastball popped in the air, foul, very doubtful. That's going to wind up in the stands. So Pierre just trying to make contact, trying to swing at strikes. At third base, Rob Brantley, the catcher, who singled, and at second, Chris Coughlin, who doubled in there. 2-2. And slapped into left field. Not only does he get one in, they will also advance the runner to third. So Juan Pierre just short stroking the ball, not trying to hit a home run. Bangs one into left field. And for the first time tonight, the Marlins have a lead 4-3. So Belisario is not fooling people. He's given up a single, then a double, and another single. Still nobody out, first and third. Now the batter is Hechavarria, who flied to center, hit into a force play, grounded to short. Among other things, the Dodgers have to worry about a possible double steal. That is, and I'm sure they've squared it away. What do we do? And that's what A.J. Ellis is doing. What do we do if Pierre takes off? Meanwhile, Gordon and Schumacher have settled on who's going to be covering second base. First and third, nobody out. 4-3 Marlins. Ball one. Echevarria 0 for 3. So McGill went 5. Howell came in and retired the side in order in the 6th on 15 pitches. And now Belisario in trouble here in the 7th. Pierre at first. Coughlin down the line from third. Nobody out. A bluff and almost a hit batter. Pierre started off and then jammed on the brakes. Ellis again gesturing. Paco Rodriguez, meanwhile, gets up in the Dodger bullpen. Greg Dobbs would be the next left-hander to come up after Polanco Ruggiano, so it's a while down. 2-0. And a chopper up the middle. Gordon's on the bag, goes to first for the double play. Second run of the inning brought in by Coughlin, however, and Miami leads 5-3. So Hechavarria hits into the double play, but it's still a 2-run inning, and the batter is Placido Polanco. Polanco fouled out a spectacular diving catch by Skip Schumacher in the first inning on the warning track beyond first base. Next time up he walked. Last time up he grounded to short. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 7th, they will have Crawford, Punto, and Gonzalez. Popped in the air to right field. Ethier's ball. However, the Marlins come up with 2 singles and a double and pick up 2. And at the end of 6.5, lead the Dodgers 5-3. Inning after Crawford's single, Punto walked. Adrian Gonzalez hit a 3-run home run. but it didn't last very long. Derek Dietrich hit a 3-run home run in the 4th inning, his first major league home run, to tie it up. And then to make matters worse for the Dodgers, who have lost 7 straight, Belisario gave up 2 singles and a double for 2 more runs. So for the Dodgers, they find themselves down 5-3 as they come up here in the bottom of the 7th. It'll be the top of the order, and that would be Crawford, Punto, and Gonzalez. Crawford is a very much of a first ball hitter as he faces Mike Dunn. Mike's out of New Mexico, lives in Las Vegas, and he'll be facing a first ball hitter in Carl Crawford. Let's see if he tries to throw a strike. Nope. When Crawford hits the first pitch, believe it or not, his average is 625. 0-1, 571, and 1-1, 438. Fastball 2-0. However, like most hitters, you get 2 strikes on him. No matter the count, with 2 strikes, Carl's hitting just 120. 2-0. Dunn was originally signed by the Yankees back in 2004. That makes it 2-1. Mike is 6'1", 205-pounder. He'll be 28 near the end of May. He's been in 17 previous games. 5 walks, 15 strikeouts. The opposition hitting .237 against him. And now Crawford has the count his way. 3-1. When Dunn was drafted by the Yankees, they drafted him as an outfielder. That's a strike. 3-2. 2 seasons, Dunn hit about 160, and they decided he had a good arm, so they'd move him to the mound. 3-2. Still 3-2. So Dunn facing the left-handers, Crawford and Gonzalez. Punto, in between switch hitter, will turn around and bat right-handed. Three and two. Yep, that 2-strike count, and Crawford's in trouble no matter what it was at 2 strikes. So 1 out in the 7th, and the batter will be Nick Punto. Punto has walked, grounded out, struck out, 0-for-2. Good fastball. So Crawford goes down. They tell a story, it's plainly true, about Mike Dunn. He was in the bullpen in a AAA All-Star game, and his fiance ran down the field and raced to the bullpen. 1 ball and no strikes. And he said to her, when I finally saw her, she was yelling at me, and I was like, "Why are you here?" So he went over to the bullpen gate. She said, "You're not going to Buffalo tomorrow." And he said, "Where am I going?" And she said, "You just got called up to the big leagues." 2 years later, she gave birth to a son. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-2 to Punto. Against Mike, well, he has a 4-seam fastball that he's gotten up to as high as 97. He's got this 2-seamer, the sinker, slider, cutter, and a changeup. 1-2. 5-3 Miami. Punto still there. 1-2 the count. Dodgers scored 3 in the first. Miami scored 3 in the fourth, and then 2 more in the seventh to take the lead. One ball and 2 strikes. Breaking ball. That was pretty much of a cutter. Looked like a fastball, and the last second just moved in a couple of inches on the hand. Fastball just off the plate. Dunn lives over in Las Vegas. Went to the Community College of Southern Nevada. Two and two to Punto. Fouled away. Pretty good fastball at 95 in on the hands. Nick fought it off. Five runs, 6 hits for Miami as Adrian waits. 3 runs, 8 hits for the Dodgers. Two and two. Fouled away. The outfield shallow in center and right. Reasonably played by Pierre in left, but the others are up. Punto with 1 home run, 16 in his entire career. Two balls, 2 strikes. And line to left, Pierre comes up. So Dunn hits it on, gives it to Punto, hits it right on the button out. We have 2 out in the 7th. Adrian Gonzalez did a 3-run home run, first inning, grounded out and struck out since. Adrian Gonzalez is 1 for 2 in the past against Mike Dunn. On deck, Matt Kemp. Fastball for a strike. Adrian Gonzalez came into the game hitting .391 against left-handers. No balls, 1 strike. 0-2. Mentioned something about fastball. You could read that. I think that was a changeup. And he's talking to himself about looking for a fastball. 0-2. Ground ball. Dietrich. Dodgers done in the 7th. 1-2-3. And at the end of 7, Miami 5 and the Dodgers 3. But nevertheless, it shows you the hustle and the overall ability of Skip Schumacher. First inning, Polanco hits one foul down the line. He's the middleman, makes a spectacular diving catch. Second time goes to the fence to make yet another. However, that's not putting any runs on the board. It is preventing Miami. But the Marlins lead the Dodgers 5-3 in the 8th inning. Mike Dunn made 19 pitches in the 7th inning. Jose Fernandez made 86 pitches through 6 innings. So Belisario back to work. Ball 1 to Justin Ruggiano. Ruggiano has walked, struck out, fly to right. In there. 1 ball, 1 strike. 41,721. Hope you make plans to be with us tomorrow night. It's a 6:21 game, 6:10 game, and Ryu and Slowey, Hyun-Jin Rui and Kevin Slowey. Then Sunday, Tom Kohler going up against Chris Capuano. Fastball. 2-2 to Ruggiano, then Dobbs and Ozuna. Fastball pulled on the ground, foul. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 8th, it will be Matt Kemp, Andre Ethier, and A.J. Ellis. Belisario had pitched an inning in the Arizona series. He's in his 18th game. Three and two. The Marlins had lost 3 straight, 6 out of 8. They were swept in San Diego. Dodgers have lost 7 in a row. And that's ball 4. So Ruggiano draws the walk. And the batter will be Greg Dobbs. Matt McGill struggled with his control. He walked 4, hit a batter, yet he only gave up 3 runs. Mattingly now, with the left-hand hitting Dobbs coming up and the left-hand hitting Dietrich, 2 hitters behind him, he'll go to the pen, and he has Paco getting ready to be brought in, and we'll be right back. celebrating 11 years. So join the millions of fans and subscribe today. You can watch every out-of-market game live online on your favorite mobile and connected devices in HD quality with MLB.TV Premium MLB.TV. Baseball everywhere. Paco Rodriguez coming out of the Dodger bullpen. So he has his 18th assignment along with Belisario. They have each appeared in 18 games. Paco, last time out Monday against Arizona, he worked 2 innings. So Paco getting ready to face Greg Dobbs, the left-hand batter, Marcell Ozuna, the right-hand batter, and then Derek Dietrich, the left-hand hitter. Dobbs flied to right, fouled out. The fine catch by Schumacher and grounded out. So Greg is 0 for 3. They have to watch Ruggiano. And Paco's doing just that. Ruggiano is 5 for 5 in stolen bases. And that's popped up left side. It will be Punto. So Dobbs pops it up, and the batter Marcell Ozuna. Ozuna flied to center, walk, grounded to short, 0 for 2. Ozuna having just been called up. So the batting average a little bit inflated, but he'll take it. Ozuna's been in 9 games. This is number 10. 0 for 2 tonight. Meanwhile, Ruggiano trying to get a bigger lead, and Paco watching him very carefully. And there he goes. The pitch is low. The throw is in time to get him. Well, that's the first time this year Ruggiano's been caught trying to steal. He goes down 2-4 with Schumacher making the tag. A.J. Ellis comes up and shoots him down. I can see why he was appealing, because he thought his right foot was on the bag. The tag was kind of a high sweep. But Schumacher credited with the putout. Take another look. Now watch. The left foot's free, the right foot, and the tag is on the hip. So it was that close. Two and one to count to Ozuna. 2 out, 8th inning, 5-3 Miami. Ryu and Slowey tomorrow night at 6:10. Fouled away. $41,721. Saw quite a duel. McGill and Fernandez. Way off the plate. 3-2 the count. Gonzalez 3-run home run in the first. Dietrich 3-run home run in the fourth. And then Miami breaks the tie with 2 in the seventh. Breaking ball lifted to right. Ethier is there. All right, we're heading to the bottom of the 8th. Matt Kemp, Andre Ethier, A.J. Ellis. 5-3 Miami. Zach Greinke pitched tonight. He went 4 1/3 innings. He allowed 6 hits, 3 earned runs. More importantly, he made 80 pitches. His season with the Dodgers, remember, he was 1-0 and a great ERA of 1.5. So now they will wait and see, number one, how does Zach feel after making 80 pitches. They'll determine whether he will make another rehab or whether they even start him against Washington. We'll just have to wait and see. Meanwhile, we don't have to wait and see Chad Qualls, the big fella out of Lomita, who went to the University of Nevada. And Chad is certainly a veteran reliever. 4 years with the Astros, 3 with the Diamondbacks, and then the Rays, the Padres, Phillies, Yankees, Pirates, and now the Marlins. Growing up, big Dodger fan, spent a lot of time coming to Dodger Stadium. Now he's trying to get them out. And here's Matt Kemp. Strike. Matt struck out in the first inning, struck out in the third, got a high breaking ball, hit it to deep right center, and Ruggiano made a nice running catch on the track. 0-1. Fastball, and that's hit into left field, base hit. So Matt Kemp extends his hitting streak to 9 with a leadoff single. Andre Ethier coming up. Went down to get the breaking ball, bangs it into left field. Ethier has grounded out twice and popped up. 0 for 3. Five runs, 6 hits for Miami. 3 runs, 9 hits for the Dodgers. Dodgers left the bases loaded in the 6th inning. Fastball, strike. For Qualls, he throws a 2-seamer. That's the sinking fastball. He also has a slider and a changeup. He's worked on a split finger, which he would use right now against Ethier. Basically, you'd call him a sinker slider. There goes Kemp. The throw very high, and Matt steals it easily. Matt now is 5 for 5 in stolen bases. So Brantley's throw sailed high and away. They never had a chance to get him. So Kemp at second. Ethier up there, 1 ball, 1 strike. 5-3 Miami, bottom of the 8th. Fastball, rolled foul. He hits 95 with that fastball. 1-2 the count. So Ethier facing Chad Qualls, who among other things went to Los Angeles Harbor Junior College and transferred to the University of Nevada. Finally drafted by the Astros 13 years ago. 1-2 to Ethier. And hit in the air to right. Coming up, making a play, Ozuna, and guns it into second base. So Ethier 0 for 4 with a fly ball to right. 1 down, and Ellis coming up. Ellis double, struck out, single, 2 for 3. AJ also made a perfect throw to nail Ruggiano trying to steal. Trying to pick up Kemp. 1 out, 8th inning, 5-3 Miami. Ellis 2 for 3, hitting .283. And ball 1. A.J. Ellis against Chad Qualls, just 0 for 2. Waiting on deck, Skip Schumacher, who was 0 for 11 against Qualls. 1 ball and no strikes. That moved in. Late breaking ball, and it got in. Good pitch. 1-1. Meanwhile, the huddle with young Jose Fernandez. He has nowhere to go but stay with the game. 1-1. Fastball, but low, ball 2. Qualls is a big man. He's 6'5", about a good 220. He'll be 35 in August. 3-1 to count. So Matt Kemp singled to extend his hitting streak to 9, stole second. Ethier flies to right, and Ellis trying to pick him up. Three balls, 1 strike. Second strike, 3-2. Dodgers got off on the right foot against Jose Fernandez. Adrian Gonzalez a 3-run home run in the first inning. But Derek Dietrich hit a 3-run run in the 4th, and that's it. And then the Marlins came back with 2 and lead 5-3. Shot up the middle, base hit. Here comes Kemp. They'll wave him in. So A.J. Ellis comes up with his 3rd hit, and that makes it 5-4 Miami. Fastball up out over the plate. Ellis not about to let it get by. Singles by the diving Dietrich. Kemp waved in without a play. So it is 5-4 Miami, 1 out. And here is Skip Schumacher with Ellis at first. Schumacher, remember, is 0 for 11 in the past against Qualls. Skip flied to left, struck out, doubled in the 6th inning inside 3rd. Right, 0-1. After Schumacher, D. Gordon. No balls, 1 strike. 0-2. So Matt Kemp extended his streak, stole a base, scores the run, and the Dodgers are still a buck short. No balls and 2 strikes to Schumacher. Nice save by Brantley. So Dunn came in, got a 1-2-3 inning. Walls comes in and he's struggling. Allowed 2 hits and a run. Meanwhile, we have a chance to tell you the Giants just defeated the Braves 8-2. They jumped on Tim Hudson for 6 runs in the 4th inning. That was more than enough for Matt Cain, who allowed 3 hits through 8 innings. The final, Giants 8, Braves 2. Dodgers will go to Atlanta on the 17th of the month. 1-2. In the dirt, gets away, down to second goes the tying run. So A.J. Ellis, who singled in Kemp, is now at second on the wild pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Schumacher. Fouled away. In the inning, Kemp singled to left, stole second after Ethiers fly ball to right. Ellis singled home Kemp, goes to second on the wild pitch. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Brandon League begins to warm up. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tapper off the bare hand to the shortstop, who makes the play. Chad Qualls almost messed that up. He reached up with a bare hand. Hechavarria made a very good play, and so did Dobbs to stay on the bag at first base. So Schumacher is out, 1-6-3. Ellis taking third. Scott Van Slyke is out on deck as Dee Gordon gets in the bag. There's the bare hand touch. Hechavarria makes the play anyway, and a good stretch by Greg Dobbs. So the tying run is 90 feet away. Gordon is grounded out twice, was walked intentionally, and ball 1. D hitting .286 with 3 runs batted in. The corners are up with 2 out. Ground ball, Dietrich to Dobbs. So the Dodgers left the bases loaded in the 6th. They leave the tying run at third in the 8th, and we head to the 9th, 5-4 Marlins. Dodger Baseball on Prime Ticket is brought to you by CarMax. Start the search for your next car at CarMax. And by 76, we're on the driver's side. Marlins clinging to what is now a 5-4 lead, and we go to the ninth inning. So Paco Rodriguez came in to face the first baseman, Greg Dobbs. He'll now face the ninth inning, meaning Derek Dietrich, Rob Brantley, and we will see about Qual's spot. Five runs, 6 hits for the Marlins. 4 runs, 10 hits for the Dodgers. Don't forget tomorrow night at 6:10. Hyunjin Ryu against Kevin Slowey. Dietrich is 1 for 3, and it's a big one, a 3-run home run in the 4th inning. Ground ball to Gonzalez, 1 away. Rob Brantley, the catcher, will be coming up. He's walked, hit by a pitch, and singled. Steve Cishek begins to warm up. He's the closer on a ball club that has had 4 saves and has won 10 games. So Brantley 1 for 1. That's in there, 0-1. Matt Diaz comes out on deck. Diaz will be hitting for Qualls. 0-1. 0-2. Brantley walked in the 3rd, hit by the pitch in the 4th. Singled. Came around to score in the 7th. Waved at. So Rodriguez takes care of Brantley. And now the batter is a veteran, Matt Diaz, who was originally signed by the Devil Rays out of Florida State. Diaz, a Portland, Oregon boy. If you see the name, you think Diaz, but he said, my father came over from Barcelona, and he and my father used their own pronunciation, Diaz. Ground ball, Gonzalez at the other end of it. So a very quick top of the 9th. We're heading to the bottom of the 9th inning, and it'll be a hitter for Rodriguez, then Crawford and Punto. 5-4 Miami. Strike will come off the bench and be the third Dodger pinch hitter. Uribe and Fedorovich have been there, and they'll be facing Steve Cishek. Cishek went to Little Carson Newman University in Tennessee. Clyde Wright, you may remember, is from that university. Steve from Falmouth, Massachusetts, now lives in Jupiter in Florida. And he is a tall drink of water, 6'6", 220. He'll be 27 years old in the middle of June. Been with the Marlins since 2010. So Cishek ready to go to work. Basically, pretty good two-seam sinker. He has a slider and a changeup. And Scott Van Slyke, who had just been called up from Albuquerque, where he was leading the league in hitting. Elian Herrera went back. The big reason they brought Van Slyke up, they're worrying, should anything happen to Adrian Gonzalez and his neck, they have a first baseman to cover. And of course, they can also use Van Slyke in the corner outfield position. So Van Slyke, then Crawford and Punto against Cishek. He sneaks that fastball in there. 0-1. One ball and one strike. Two and one. Grew up big Red Sox fan. Scott's father, Andy, of course, a very successful major league player. Little roller, foul. 2-2. Cishek, a Massachusetts boy, so he was not only a rabid Red Sox fan, he also says that he still has a poster of Nomar Garciaparra still in the wrapper. I didn't want it to ever get ruined, he said. I know where it is in the house right now. Tried to copy Derek Lowe. And looked like a slider, check swing, no swing. Boy, that thing was just off the plate. 3-2 to Scott Van Slyke. Scotty's 6'5", 220. Dodgers signed him out of high school in Missouri. Fastball, strike three call. Van Slyke thought it was ball four. Down he goes, biting his lip.
Number 25, Carl Crawford.
So Van Slyke is called out on strikes instead of thinking ball four. And we have one out in the ninth inning. Carl Crawford with a frustrated Van Slyke looking on. Ball one. Crawford has never faced Cishek before. On deck, Nick Punto, who's 0 for 1 against him. One ball and one strike to Carl Crawford. And remember, we mentioned earlier the account on Crawford is so important. One ball and one strike. Breaking ball. Dobbs takes it, and the Dodgers are down to their last out, trailing 5-4. Nick Punto with his foot in the door. Adrian Gonzalez on deck. Punto has walked, grounded out, struck out, and lined out. 5 runs, 6 hits, no errors for Miami. 4-10-0 for the Dodgers. Ryu making his own mental calculations. 0-1 the count. Rio will be on the mound tomorrow night at 6:10. Oh and 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Adrian Gonzalez 0 for 1 in the past against Cishek. Punto trying to get aboard, trying to give Gonzalez a swing. 2-1 the count. Fouled away off third, way upstairs. 2-2. Paid attendance again, 41,721. Saw a tough ball game. Dodgers picked up 3 in the first inning. Miami came back with 3 in the fourth. They struggled until Miami got 2 in the seventh. Dodgers with 1 in the eighth. 2-2 to Punto. Got him, and the game is over. So Nick Punto is caught looking, as was Van Slyke. 5 runs, 6 hits for Miami, 4 runs, 10 hits for the Dodgers, who have now lost 8 in a row and try to get well tomorrow with Ryu at 6:10. Stay tuned for Dodgers Live. It's coming right up. Good night, everybody.